Welcome to the Legged Podcast. As you all know by now, the Legged Podcast is powered by Monterex. Make sure you head over to monterex.com and take advantage of the 15% off they offer if you type in Legged at checkout. Monterex have been the main sponsor of the podcast for a while now, and their gear is a belter. So head over to the website now and take full advantage of the Legged promo code. So before this episode starts, if you do enjoy the Legged Podcast and you do want to support us for just £1 a week, you can on Patreon. And with doing so, you get early access to all our episodes and an extra weekly episode of me and Jordan just chewing the fat. Thanks for the support. Nice one. What's happening, everyone? It's the Sportscast. It's me, Andy Grant.
It's me, Jordan Neal.
First off, apologies for anyone who doesn't follow us on Patreon. I did explain there was no Sportscast last week. My dog sadly died, which was shit. So we missed last week.
Things are more important, lad.
Yeah, it was. But we're back now. For anyone who wants a bit more context, head over to Patreon. It's £1 a week. You support the boys. And a bit more detail on that. So apologies we weren't there for then. We're back now. Still sponsored by Monterex. Don't forget to leg it 15 if you want 15% off. We've got Health Kit Kitchen there.
That for a scran.
I'm going to be scanning that as soon as we finish.
Oh, I'm so hungry.
And we've also got the... You type in Legged 20 for 20% off there. They've got loads of new clobber just dropping. I saw some of it last week. It's a belter.
Yeah.
So all the links in the bio. Go support our sponsors.
What's happening?
I'm good, lads. Good to be talking sport again.
Yeah. Love this. I love this show.
Same. It's my favourite show of the week.
It's a proper little outlet of just sport, innit?
I said before, don't get me wrong. We've been lucky enough to speak to some belter guests, and we'll continue to do so. But I'll be honest, lads. A lot of love for Jord because the Patreons and the Sportscast have kind of took over me and the podcast. The Wednesday shows where we take the piss out of each other, argue, disagree, join forces, laugh, buzz off each other, and then talking about sports. So they've kind of took a bit more precedent, which I make no apologies for, to be honest.
Sportcast got a little cult following as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a belter.
Hopefully long may it continue. But
it's a belter.
What are we, about 50 odd episodes in now, Sportcast?
Yeah.
Flying.
What's mad is when we think about the numbers, the downloads, I mean, what we talk about is only relevant for 24, 48 hours at a max. And the numbers we get, I'm so proud of it, lad. So.
Yeah. Other shitbag podcast put theirs out on a Monday so they can get loads of listens. We just fucking roll out on a Friday. But, yeah.
So thanks for that support. It's we've seen it grow loads this past, 6, 9, 12 months. So nice one.
We could fill the Anfield away end and a little bit of the Kenny Dalglish stand with the people who listen.
I know.
We're just making our way around the ground.
We'll be in the cop soon. Listen, talking about the cop. This is it's the last weekend now of footy. Premier League ends this weekend.
Before we start on Liverpool, we should point out someone called us the Liverpool FC Sportcast.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it arguably is maybe a little bit biased.
It's only because of now, though. Because of what's
You
happening.
can't not talk about Liverpool now, though. That's
I agree.
The thing.
But just in case you're listening, it's not a Liverpool podcast. But you can't pretend it's not happening.
No.
And you can't hide emotion. You can't.
To be biased for a minute, then. Sorry, to not be biased. What's been, do you think, the best Premier League season?
Ooh.
We're going to do, by the way, we're going to do a show on like an end of season review in the next week or two. But I mean, just a quick one for you. I mean, because
I feel like sort of when it was Newcastle and Man United, I know I was only young, but I felt like they were dead good. But is that like nostalgic bias? Do you know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
Because
I mean, it's an open-ended question in the sense of what makes it a good season. Is it the talent? Is it the drama? Is it the subplots?
Now there's well more narrative, but it's built up way more now, isn't it? Like the coverage on Liverpool and Man City now is just insane, isn't it?
Yeah, I think with social media as well, you can't get away from it, can you?
No.
I think I enjoyed the Ferguson Wenger days.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They felt
good.
Like bigger.
Yeah, they were good.
But they were essentially what Liverpool and City are now, aren't they? They were that far ahead until Chelsea got like £1 billion.
And the rest. I think in terms of moments, that Aguero moment was arguably the greatest ever.
I literally remember watching it. I was sitting in there. My dad used to have a place in town. Actually, I was actually on my own. I remember just putting my hands on my head like, oh my god.
Yeah, I don't remember where I was for that,
Because Joey Barton went mad, didn't he? In the game, got like sent off and started kicking people and stuff.
I think this weekend's got potential to be that.
Do you reckon? I don't like. Obviously, look, I want Liverpool to win, but if you think about it, it's like the top four of the league relegation's going to the last day, there's going to be drama somewhere in one of the battles. Like,
that's why I asked you, is this the greatest season? Not just with a Liverpool hat on because of the quadruple, but I mean, everything's gone down to the last day, even the top 4. Do you know what I mean? I know it's pretty much Tottenham's guaranteed it, more or less, but you know, it's still all up for grabs.
My theory though is I think this season's been better because of lack of actual quality. I think Liverpool and City...
How can you say there's not been enough quality?
I think Liverpool and City are the only quality teams in the league.
Oh, come on, lad.
Like the rest... Did you watch Arsenal versus Tottenham?
It
was so bad.
More when you say this, lad.
Lad, it was so bad.
But you know what? You say this, George, because you don't watch Italian football week in, week out. You don't watch Spanish football week in, week out.
Fuzzy.
Yeah, but you're not watching Levante against Elche on a fucking Tuesday night, are you?
But I just don't like... They're that far ahead. I just think the rest of the league
Well, that's what I mean. You're right.
Yeah, look how... Like, for example, look how bad Everton have been. They're still 16th.
They're so far ahead, Man City and Liverpool. It's making everyone else seem shit. That's what it is.
I don't know, lad. Because you look... Even... Like Villa... like, when did the last time Villa won? Like, they just remain 14th. There's no... Do you know what I mean?
But that's not down to shit quality though. You know what I think the problem is, which isn't what you're saying, but it's not far away. What's mad is every team has got expectations, right? So at the start of next season, you'll have City, Liverpool, Chelsea. You know, our aim is to win the league, right? But only one can. So straight away, there's 2 disappointed sets of boards, sets of fans, sets of managers, players, etc. There's only one winner.
I just find watching any other Premier League game... I've watched Everton quite a lot now because of the drama, but like the Arsenal-Tottenham game, I've tried to watch a few others. The quality's so bad. Lad, it really is.
I think that's really disrespectful, lad.
Lad, it is so bad. But that's not a detriment to Liverpool and City.
When did you last watch fucking Torino and Sampdoria?
Yeah, but maybe theirs is not great either, but I just think the Premier League... It is the biggest league in the world because it's so, a circus around it. But I just don't think the quality is actually that good outside of the top 2. Arsenal were all season have had this thing of the rebuild, they're coming, like they're on the way back up. They are terrible.
Yeah, they were awful at Spurs, and then again at Newcastle.
But they're like the 4th best team in the league.
Well, they're not.
Nearly. That's what are they, 4th or 5th?
5th.
Yeah. So who's the 3rd best team? Chelsea.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang average team.
Again, a bit disrespectful, they got to 2 cup finals.
Yeah, and the quality of both games is awful as well.
But hang on, alright, so you've just said then, argued that Liverpool and Man City are streets ahead of everyone. Liverpool haven't beat Chelsea this season, and yet you're saying Chelsea are bang average.
Very good point, but on the whole, they are. Do you think Chelsea are a good team?
Yeah. Yeah. They got to the quarter-final, the semi-final of the Champions League, was it? No, quarter-final?
They get to the semi, did they? That was
they got beat by Real Madrid, didn't they?
They got beat by Real Madrid, the one before.
So they got to the quarter-final of the Champions League. They got to the FA Cup final, the League Cup final, and they're the only 2 teams above them are Man City and Liverpool, who are arguably the best 2 teams in the world, and you're saying they're fucking bang average.
To me, they are. I just can't have them. I just don't think they're that good of a team.
Because Liverpool and Man City are making everyone else look shit.
Okay. Alright, if you take Liverpool and City out, just stand with me a minute, because no, this doesn't happen, but if you took them out, the rest of the league as a whole, okay, Chelsea have done alright in cup competitions, fair enough. Who's the best player in the rest of the league?
What, performing this season?
Just in general, who's the standout players from? So you've got the likes of Kane, haven't you? But he's not.
Son, I'd say.
Yeah.
Son.
But they're not like world class, unreal players, are they? Who are in like the top. Son's a very, very good player. Very good player, but he's not like a standout world class, what I would call a world class player, although world class does get banded about quite easily these days. I just think if you take them 2 out, the rest of the league is crap.
I'll tell you what, if you took Man City and Liverpool out, you know what you get? You get a Premier League season
that no one could win.
Of like Man United, Arsenal back in the day, Wenger and Ferguson. That's what you get.
Maybe the gap is the problem.
That's all it is.
But I don't know. I struggle to get to the end of a Premier League game from 0 to 90. That's not involving Liverpool or Man City.
Yeah, but I've always been like that.
Or Everton at the minute. I was quite a footy nerd, lad. I could get behind it, but it's just abysmal. But Liverpool and City are unreal.
They are unreal, and listen, it's going to come down to the last game of the season. Let's start.
Stevie, come on.
We'll break it down and we'll start with where the title's going to be going first.
Okay.
Now listen, 99 times out of 100, Man City at home playing against the, mid to low table Aston Villa, they win 99 times out of 100. I don't even mean draw. I mean they win.
Yeah, comfortable.
And they win 3-4-0.
Yeah.
99 times out of 100.
Yeah.
The thing I am hoping, and it's the hope that you live for, and it's the hope that kills you, is that this fairy tale is too well written. Now, I know life's not a fairy tale, but to have Liverpool wait 30 years to win a league title, then when they finally win it, it's behind closed doors because of COVID. Then the next season, when you are allowed to have fans in, Liverpool go on and do the quadruple, and the one team that could stop them doing it was Man City. And the person that stops Man City happens to be Steven Gerrard, Liverpool's greatest ever player, with the likes of Coutinho and Ings, who arguably had unfinished business, especially Ings, at Liverpool. For them then to be the one who stopped Man City, the story's too mad, and I just think it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. I think the narrative is unbelievable.
You couldn't.
No other sport could do that.
The narrative.
Sport,
to wait 30 years though and not celebrate it, and then the next time you do it, it's when Stevie's playing a part. It's when there's a quadruple on hold, a quadruple to play for. I mean, it is mad.
Yeah.
We spoke about this, by the way, in January.
Yeah. I always remain that we wouldn't get back to the league, but even just to get to the last day is an achievement for Liverpool, I think, to get from where they were at. Of course. Where they're at, but it's so hard not to look at it with like rose-tinted glasses.
Oh, mate, I can't not be like with me Stevie
in a cold hour today. Man City just absolutely bulldoze Aston Villa at home.
Of course.
Like, as you say, football has different stories, doesn't it, sometimes? But, I don't know. The only thing that I hope that doesn't happen is that, because it has gone to the last day, that Liverpool are, like, all in. And then, like, if it doesn't happen, it's sort of like that, oh, fuck's sake, do you know what I mean? And then you've got to pick yourself back up.
Don't think the fans or the manager would allow, or even the players for that matter, would allow that to happen.
That's what I hope doesn't happen. But if it happens, then we just got to take care of our business and just wait. But it's a horrible position to be in, waiting on other people.
I just don't want to be standing on the cop and after 30 seconds, City are 2-0 up.
Yeah, I know.
Because that could happen.
I think just like 88 minutes of us just playing a season out.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If you go 2-0 up straight away, I'd be fucking gutted.
Yeah. You want something to cling on to, don't you?
I remember being in the ground a few years back when I think it was Brighton went 1-0 up.
Yeah, they did.
And I thought, oh my God, we're going to win the league. And then 2 minutes later, it was like, nah, it's back to 1-1.
Yeah, it's
I think that the other thing that gives me a little bit of hope is that Villa don't need to win. You know, they could just defend for 90 minutes.
Yeah, but it's also that, are you on the beach sort of thing? Because is Villa going into that game thinking...
I know, but it's Stevie, it's Coutinho,
Stevie will be all over it, I think. I mean, he wouldn't want to... That pretty much redeems the slip, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah.
But it's sort of that, like, as a player, you're obviously so dialed in to winning every week. When you arrive at the Etihad as a Villa player, you know no matter how this game goes... Monday morning, mate, you're off to wherever you're booked to. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know, but you know, if you're, you look at Stevie, he's your manager. You're buying into him. You want to make a good mark on him. You know how much that would make him happy.
Yeah.
So if you're playing for your manager, it's not as if you're thinking, oh fucking hell, the manager's talking shite. I've got a flight booked tomorrow. You want to make your manager Stevie happy, and what would make him more happy if they do the business and Liverpool win the league.
It's just if the early goal happens, that's when they sort of go, we tried. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we just got to cling on to 0-0 for a long, or just get a little spawny goal. And Tyrone Mings at the back post or something.
Listen, I don't sound like a fucking madman, but if Villa can get a goal just on the brink of half time, and I'm standing there in the concourse having a pint with John Paul, Phil and all the lift gang over there, and I'm standing there and we're 2-0 up, and City need 2 goals, not the second half. Oh my God.
I wouldn't even watch the Liverpool game.
I won't be able to...
I'd stay in the concourse and just try and find to watch that game.
I don't think I'll be able to... If we win the league on Sunday, I don't think I'll stop drinking until I get back from Paris. I won't be able to not drink now. I'll be on the ale every day.
What would you rather win, the league on Sunday or the Champions League next week?
Champions League.
It's always the Champions League for me.
Yeah, Champions League.
To be honest, I'm a bit cold towards Sunday. I want it to happen for the diehard fans who missed out. But for me, the biggest game of the season's in a week. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I would sacrifice, I'd let City win 5-0 this weekend if it guaranteed we got to next week with like full strength and we could go for it.
You know what I think's wound Pep up to fuck as well? Is that he spent $500 million more than any other team. He was there to bring them in the Champions League. They win the league before he even got there anyway, so that doesn't matter. And yet Liverpool have done the League Cup, the FA Cup, potentially the Champions League, and got within 1 point of them. I mean, that's got to be heart-wrenching for them to think that. I'm gone. Liverpool have just gone the whole season, they've won everything, and we've only beat them by 1 point. That is a disappointing season for them.
I mean, but if you get that trophy at the end of the day, there's a lot of ways to go. Well, it's not because we've won the domestic league, is what it is. Because there's always that argument of what's better, isn't it? Some people say the Prem is better, some people say the Champions League better. So they've got that. But I mean, a trophy-less season for City would be catastrophic.
Oh, disastrous. Yeah, if they win it, they win it. They deserve to win it. But I just mean the fact that if they'd won it by 15 points and we'd done the treble, it would be a lot different than us doing the treble and then winning it by a point.
Yeah, 100%. Like, we are 19 points ahead of third.
What a third place on points wise?
70.
But that's what I mean. That 70 odds was winning the has won the league a couple of times. You know.
Top four is crazy. So I think Spurs win there in the top four, aren't they? That'll be a good achievement from Conte, you know.
Yeah. Well, they're
really
playing Norwich, aren't they? Away. They just need a point.
Yeah. Obviously, Arsenal next best. They can finish on a maximum of 69, which is probably not good news for Everton. Disclaimer: we're speaking a little bit before Everton play Crystal Palace. Yeah. Which I hope they win. I know we're going to discuss this, but you know, if Everton have to go to Arsenal to get a result, that's tough. United 58.
To be fair though, George, I think Arsenal losing out to Newcastle, I think, has helped Everton, because if Arsenal would have won, the pressure would have been on them to beat Everton. I know they still need to beat Everton, but the players know that Tottenham aren't going to get beat by Norwich.
But I think if they end the season on that note, Arsenal, in terms of like getting beat, lost the last two, and then they go and get beat by Everton at home, I think any good work that anyone... It
doesn't matter. They've missed out on Champions League now.
Yeah, but I agree with you, but I just hope to God. We can't really talk about this too much, because I hope to God Everton have secured the league status by...
It was just the most...
last night.
It was the most Everton thing to do in the world, though, to put in those decent results against United. I think was it Chelsea. They're at home against Brentford. Everyone keeps banging on. It's the home form that'll keep Everton in the league.
It was harsh, though, I thought.
The Brentford game? Why?
It was a pen on Richarlison, then that lad gets sent off, and then like it's so harsh that
it's just fucking I wouldn't say harsh.
He's just come out, like, I know it's a sending off at the end of the day, but it is a foul at the other end. Like it is a foul. He gets a pen for something less in the second half or the end of the first half. It is. But
you know, regardless,
he'll be all right anyway, because I'm just gonna think it forward, because Leeds are in free fall, so they can fuck right off.
I just think though that if they're playing Palace tonight again, we're recording this on a Thursday morning, so we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. Everton needs to win. They win, they're sorted. Even a draw doesn't get them.
Yeah. Well, Everton won, so well done, Everton. I hope Leeds go. Get out of this league.
Why?
Shit club, Leeds. Do me head in.
Why?
Just horrible fans, just do me head in.
George, for anyone who's not on Patreon, George just comes out with these outlandish things of people he hates and doesn't really give a reason why.
Don't remember they were like, I don't know, just something about them.
That's what he said any time. I disagree with him. This lad just fucking hate them.
No, but I hope Leeds go the most. For getting rid of Bielsa and putting that fella in who's absolutely hopeless.
He's been showing the motivational videos, hasn't he?
Who?
That new American, I know, trying to, lads.
Jesse Marsh. Yeah, he's hopeless, him.
I'm trying to.
When you come into a new job and your form's DLLLD.
Nah. Again, I disagree with you there, lad. Have you seen the fixtures they've had?
They're in free fall, lad.
Yeah, because of the fixtures they've had.
Yep. Yeah.
Their last few games, mate, they're playing everyone. I just think it's mad how it's come down to the last game of the season. And the problem is, right, let's say Everton do survive. The chances are that they will do this again next season?
I think to be fair, I think Everton will be... don't think Everton will be in Europe or anything like that, but I think if they survive this year, I think they'll definitely be improvement next year. Just purely on momentum. Look at what momentum did at Anfield. As much as I criticise the appointment of Frank Lampard, he has managed to do something no manager's done in a long time, in terms of getting the fans to be overwhelmingly positive, bringing them together. Like, the players are clearly playing for him now. No manager's been able to do that. I didn't think he would be able to do that, but he has. I'm not saying he's going to take them and build them into this European team, but I think I would imagine Everton will be competing around 9, 10, 11 next year with the Leicester, Wolves, that type of team.
I agree with you. He's galvanised the squad. He's got the fans going. He's got the players playing. The problem is though with him is that they haven't been sanctioned by financial fair play, but I think they're getting overlooked and managed by them, which means they're not going to be spending loads of money. Which means he's proven himself, like you've rightly said, in a case of getting players to play out the skin for him. He's going to have to prove his worth as a manager in the transfer market, because he's going to have to deal his way out of this mess, because they've got a lot of bad players in that team. He's going to try and ship them out and try and get. I know that's arguably maybe not his job. It's someone Michael Edwards of that kind of role, if you like, whoever they've got for that. But he's going to have to be shipping players out, getting good money in, being shrewd with the money he spends. And you know what? I agree with what you're saying. He's got the players going. There's a difference in being in a relegation fight and getting players going for the last 5-6 games of the season than it is getting players galvanised for 38 games of the season. That only lasts so long. There's only so many rallying cries you can do throughout the season.
I think they've got a chance though, because his philosophy is built on young players, isn't it? Well, the philosophy is built so far. So if he can manage to attract some young players because of who he is, I think if Everton turned up in August in the Premier League and they was like a young squad, I think Everton fans would be all right with that, because then you're building something. Because I think now reality's hit, because every year Everton fans do that. Let's get into Europe. Let's do this. We're going to do. I think Everton fans know now that top half next year is progress. So Frank Lampard come out and went, right, I've got this young team, managed to attract this player. For example, he pulled a few favours at Chelsea when they're trying to get rid of a few. Got a couple of them in, young, and they started with a really young squad and played, decent football, but win a couple of games, lose a couple of games. I think that would be progress, in my opinion. But
the only problem is though, you say the young players, if they do have a couple of losses, etc., you know how toxic Goodison can be. They haven't got that experience there. If I'm talking looking in the future, but I can just imagine if there is 2 or 3 games where they've lost that Goodison, loads of young players, they've had to sell maybe Richarlison or Calvert-Lewin, one of the two, and I don't know. I
think he's trying to shift the mentality though, isn't he?
He's trying,
there's a blueprint there. You just look on Stanley Park. Someone flashed Klopp's first team up the other day out of Tottenham, like Jerome Sinclair, like all these crap players. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you could have argued at that point, we as a club we were not as bad as Everton, but it was tough. We'd overspent on players. We had no real direction. We had no style of play. We had nothing. I'm not saying he's going to go on and start doing quadruples, but the blueprint's there. If you actually have a philosophy, you have a way of playing, and you try and build something over time.
What I think though, George, is that the difference between Klopp and Lampard is what I mentioned then, is the dealings in the transfer market. What's arguably made Liverpool so successful is how well they've done in the transfer market, and what's arguably made Everton so poor is how poorly they've done in the transfer market. And it's, unless Lampard or the board, like I say, I think most Evertonians will agree the problems are further up the chain of command. Unless they balance the books and sort the transfers out, I don't care whether it's Jurgen Klopp, Frank Lampard, Pep Guardiola. There's trouble at that club.
There's 100% trouble there, but I think if they're in the league next year, it won't be like this again next year. In my opinion, just because of what Frank Lampard just seems to be able to. If he had 38 games, based on the attitude they've been showing lately, he'd be further up the league. Is the theory that I'm working on. But again, they've got to. I'm trying to speak here, like trying to think things into existence. That they've got to be safe first. So I don't even think he'd be thinking about next year yet.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's going to be interesting with Burnley have got Aston Villa. Again, the story written into that, it's like, does Stevie rest his team against Burnley to put a strong team out against City to try and benefit us? There's so many subplots to this last 2 games of the season. It's absolutely madness.
Yeah, it's really to be honest, it's emotionally exhausting for like literally everyone. And there's probably about 6 teams you can go into the weekend and be like,
not asked.
Holiday on Monday. But yeah, it's intense, and next week we'll be able to.
I thought it was nice the news come out the last couple of days that regardless whether we win the league or the Champions League, they will be doing a parade.
Yeah. I think it's right, and I mean, it'd be quite tough if we lose the Champions League and then those lads got to get back on a bus and be like, because obviously a double's great, but like it's the biggest game in club football, and you don't really want to be losing it. But I think I'll make us favourites for the Champions League. We'll obviously talk about that next week, but again, it's just a one-off. The way they've sort of come through the tournament worries me.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Mate, just before we move from the Premier League, Haaland's obviously gone to City.
Haaland.
I thought Carragher made an absolutely brilliant point. Haaland's not going to come in this team, and City is suddenly going to get 100 points because, well, he might get 100 points, but they're already getting 100 points a season. Haaland's come in. They've got to win the Champions League next season. I don't care what anyone says. He's come in. He spent 150 million on fullbacks. He spent 100 million on Grealish. He's now dropping 70 million, I think it is, on Haaland, paying him about 400 grand a week. He's already winning the League Cup most seasons. You win in the FA Cup most seasons. You win in the League most seasons.
Oh yeah, they've got to win it.
You've got to win the Champions League. If you're dropping that amount of money every single summer, I don't care what anyone says. If they don't win the Champions League next season, Pep is a fraud. He's only ever won the Champions League with Messi.
Yeah. I think he's in the grand scheme, I think he's a good manager, but I just don't think he's as good as
people are saying.
No, not as good as people are saying. I agree. But if the worry I have for Haaland and City is if they start trying to make Haaland play like off the left and like turn him into this like ultimate footballer, because he's not that good of a. He's a bit like he's a better finisher, but he reminds me of Jota a bit. Jota's pretty shit at everything other than scoring. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't really see him doing that. But if City maybe alter a little bit and then go, right, Haaland's the focal point, we build the play so he scores, then we're all in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Because he is as deadly as
his numbers are mad.
Lewandowski's going for the free. I'd get him in for the fucking season, you know.
How old is he? 36 though, isn't he?
Yeah, but just get Lewandowski on the training ground for any of that.
He knows Klopp as well, didn't he? Used to play with him, didn't he?
Yeah, I love that. He's one of them players, they should just get in and go, you're going to play like, we're going to bring you on and that, you're going to do what Divock did, but just in training, just teach everyone. All the young players just learn off Lewandowski. But, yeah, I do have doubts about the Haaland thing in terms of where they play him and how they implement him in the team. But
I don't, lad.
If he hits the ground running we're up shit street with no paddle.
This week as well, lad, so you had First Gate Footballer come out.
Yeah, really good moments.
But then, in a twist to that, you also had a scene which fucking sickens me when people do this. Someone then went through Twitter for about fucking 10 years ago and found out one of his teammates had like tweeted their homophobic tweet. I think whoever's the person is scrolling through Twitter for that long trying to bring up shit about someone, I think they're just as bad.
Yeah, but just look.
Everyone in the world has said things, whether in private or on social media, things that are stupidly regret and they shouldn't have done. Go and look for someone to try and drop them in the shit is just...
The good thing is that's very easily solved. I'm sure the guy who come out
and he just said, listen, I 100% take responsibility for it. I was, childish when I said I was 16, I think.
So they'll have a conversation and go, mate, I meant nothing personal about it. Yeah. Don't worry about it. We move on. But again, the lad, I think, with my cynical hat on, he's probably going to get a lot of stuff coming his way for the foreseeable anyway. Do you know what I mean? On the pitch, off the pitch, stuff like that. But it's a good move because footy is sort of, I don't know, it's weird, isn't it? Like, it's becoming equal in so many ways. Like, they're trying to do everything they can, to kick out racism, could do more, all this other stuff. But there was just never anyone. I think there was another player, isn't he, in maybe America or something? Australia. But there was no one in England who's like, on the pitch as a gay person. And
I was surprised to see that apparently on social media, homophobic abuse is the top one.
Yeah,
it's not. I thought it would have been racist, but no.
It's so easy to say.
Mate, growing up, and again, it's something I apologise to if anyone ever took offence to it. I used to say the word gay all the time. Yeah. That's gay, though.
It was stuck in our vocabulary. But again, I don't think. Well, I might be wrong here, but I think gay people. I don't think they have a problem with people saying the word gay. It's when you be nasty and when you try and pull them down about the sexuality. It's definitely
the tone about it. I mean, when I used to someone would come out with a pair of saying they got gay them lad.
Yeah, but that was just stuck.
That was just like
British vocabulary, isn't it? But
obviously there's not a fucking homophobic bone in my body.
I think when the reason homophobic abuse gets, why it's probably on social media so much, is that because it can just turn nasty so quick. Do you know what I mean? It's so
Well, to go on from that, did you see the story in PSG?
Yeah, so, Ghana Gay, what was his name?
He's come out and he said he didn't want to. Yeah, he didn't want to play in PSG's game. I think it was because they asked him to wear the rainbow laces. What's also happened on the back of that is a Crystal Palace player, international teammate, has come out and support for him, and so has someone else. That makes it a bit more strange, that because it's apparently homosexuality is illegal in Senegal.
But in a lot of African countries, it's still, I don't know what the word is, but probably the most PG word is outlawed, but it's still like frowned upon. Yeah. You know what I mean? In a lot of countries in the world. But
imagine the biggest week of Liverpool's history, and Mane comes out and starts being homophobic. He's from Senegal, isn't he?
Oh God, please don't, Sadio.
Imagine.
But I think a lot of that, mate. I don't even blame. I don't blame that on being from a certain place. And at the end of the day,
I know what. He's come out and showed support.
I totally agree.
That Palace player, he's like.
But I don't think that's because of where he's from. I just think he's a knobhead.
He must be.
It doesn't matter where he's from or what his country believes in or whatever. He's just a clearly a narrow-minded idiot. It doesn't matter how rich or good a footy he is. But again, it's like, I think Patrick Vieira handled it really well, actually. He said that, if that's the case, then I'll speak to him. He wasn't trying to hide behind it or nothing like that. But at the end of the day, mate, whatever your job, your occupation, your sexuality, whatever it might be, if you look at somebody else and refuse to show them support or look at them any different because of the sexuality, you are just an idiot.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do in your life, you're just an idiot. So,
no, I agree.
The quicker you've forgotten about, the better.
So, what about another idiot? Did you see the headbutt that the fan done for the Sheffield United captain?
Yeah. Rough,
that was naughty, that, That weren't just a headbutt. That's like he's needed stitches. His face will look different the next day.
Do you know what, though? The whole footy fan culture thing is mad. Did you see the Rangers and Frankfurt fans throwing chairs at each other? And you see it every time anyone from this part of the world goes anywhere, seems to fight. But, like, why?
It's madness. But that, what I think's scary is, that this fan culture of, the pitch invasions and stuff like that, it is becoming a bit more, a bit more a regular occurrence. And
it's like the flare thing, innit? The flares are good.
Flares are well back. They're well and truly back.
Yeah, they're back in the crowds. But the thing with flares is, they're only like an inch away from anything becoming super dangerous, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Like,
one was right next to me.
I understand it looks cool and like throwing them on. I get all that, and it's part of fan culture. But you are very close to setting off a pretty tragic event. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's just when everyone's boozed up and stuff. I mean, that in the cold light today, he does not run on the pitch and headbutt someone if he's not charlied up or bevied. And on that other note as well, he brought in a thing where anyone is caught with cocaine in a football ground gets an automatic 5-year ban, I think.
So probably not. To be honest though, mate, I always did the thing of, because I watch a lot of rugby league, obviously go to a lot of rugby league games, I can drink at my seat. But it's a different culture. And I always said, why can't footy fans drink at the seat? It'd be great that. But in reality, it wouldn't. It would be an absolute recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it would.
Because it's a different energy, it's a different set of values, it's just a different crowd. In rugby, the game's one of the most violent games you can watch.
Yeah.
But it very, very rarely spills into the stands. Very rarely.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen an argument saying that the guy who was headbutted was kind of goading the fans, and whether he was or he wasn't. I mean, running on and headbutting someone
doesn't stand up if you're in a court. That if you did it on a night out, he was goading me. Okay. Okay. Next
he didn't
point.
just butt him, had he? Like Superman jumped into him, like.
It hurts so much that,
Yeah, I fell for him there. It was fucking.
Especially, but like we've said, how many times we said this? Maybe just wax lyrical about footy. How long we spoke about footy for there? A good half an hour. It's so good in so many ways, and it's brilliant. It's the best form of escapism for us all. People are going to go to Paris next week, have a great time. This weekend, I'm sure, but it still will shoot itself in the foot, one way or another, and you just can't get away from it.
No. Talking on that, we just touched on it then. Rangers, did you see the penalty shootout last night?
Like the standard of that them pens.
Oh yeah.
There was a player for Frankfurt. What was his name? Hamida or something like that.
I know it's such a cliche thing, but two keepers were not saving any of those pens. Whatever his name was. He was a player. He was an Asian player. He set the ball outside the post, and it come back in. It was unsavable. Best penalty I've ever seen. I thought the game was pretty poor.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, John Lundstrom, he hasn't got at least a booking. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was a booking.
Yeah.
I don't know, it obviously wasn't meant and it only flicked him, but it was still a booking though.
It was a booking 100%. But
I thought, what's his name, the right back, Tavernier. I thought he played awful.
Yeah. Tavernier is good, but he's just hot and cold. But Rangers have got a player in that Calvin Bassey.
Bassey was great, wasn't he? Yeah.
He's a good player, but the lad they got from us, Kent, I think at that level is really dangerous, isn't he? Really dangerous.
I thought he'd won it in the last minute as well.
That was him, wasn't it, Ryan Kent? But
unlucky. I felt got a few mates out there, and I fell for them there.
I did, but it was a tough game because the heat was like crazy, wasn't it? But
they had water stops, didn't they?
Obviously Ramsey missing the pen. The thing with Ramsey is one of them players you sign him and you think, we're signing a player that he was. He's not that guy anymore. Do you know what I mean?
He hasn't been that guy for about 10 years.
You know what I mean? He was great in when he was on it at Arsenal and stuff, but to be honest, he didn't look overly arsed about that penalty miss.
No. He's had a mad career, I think, Ramsey.
Juventus for a bit, wasn't he? I remember when he popped up at Cardiff, because he was all the rage for a bit, wasn't he? And then got that move to Arsenal, but yeah, he looks like he's sort of checked out mentally, I think.
Oh, big time, yeah. Anything else from the old footy?
No, it's going to be footy heavy in it this weekend.
And has been footy heavy so far. What are we on there, George? Take off 12 minutes. What are we on?
47, take away 12, 35.
There we go.
Done half an hour of footy.
Half an hour of footy, that'll do us prem-wise then. I'll just touch on tennis for a minute, mate. My old mate Novak got back to winning ways for the first time.
But you were celebrating in yours and all that, weren't you?
I'm just made up that the tennis gods are back on his side because I don't even particularly like him in that sense. I was more of a fan of Federer, but I just think he gets such a fucking hard time. He needs someone to stand up for him, lad, and I'm gonna be that guy. He's won his fair title.
When he comes to Wimbledon, you'll be wherever he's landing like that.
I'll be there. I seen Laura Robson retired as well.
Yeah.
I think at tennis, it's such a hard sport on your joints, isn't it?
Oh, mate.
Your ankles, your knees, your hips. I think she's retired like 27, 28.
Yeah, I think I seen
like she had like 4 knee operations or something.
From a statement, she was like, I'll always feel like I underachieved a bit. And it just got me thinking, how hard must that be? I mean, I know we all probably have feelings of underachievement at some point. But when you're at the top of a sport and then you'll always sit there and just think, what if? It's so
done
hard,
it for 20 years and she's still only 28. She's probably done it from the age of 8.
It's so hard. It's such an hard sport though, like we spoke about the other week. It's so brutal. I know you can earn good money out of it, but you don't get out healthy, do you?
No.
I know you talk about boxing and UFC where you can, and rugby where you can pick up brain injuries.
You're struggling to walk, mate, when you're 50, 60 if you play tennis.
It's just so demanding and it's so quick. But the one thing I did see in tennis was that Carlos Alcaraz, see the Spanish kid, he's the next sort of big thing, but he beat Nadal.
This isn't a Bruno Shea-Ruby in the next Sedan,
No,
is it?
he's meant to be. He actually beat Nadal for the first time. They played 3 times, and he beat him for the first time. And it was all built up as like the sort of, what's it called?
Passing of the
torch.
Yeah.
But I think Nadal's been very complimentary about him, and he was sort of like I don't even want to play him. I don't want to play Nadal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was good. He's only 19, so he's I think he's on the edge of winning one of the big ones. But always love them stories of people coming through. Like
on injuries as well, Andy Murray is forced out of. I just feel like every week he's
talking about bodies, lad. His is gone.
His is gone, but he's well. His argument at this point was he was forced out to concentrate on his prep for Wimbledon.
Yeah, but because he's put two tournaments in, he, before. So he skipped the French Open and played 2 tournaments for Wimbledon. If he gets to Wimbledon, I'll be surprised.
That's what I was going to say. If he plays a fucking minute at Wimbledon, I'll fucking clap him.
His body, man. He must be in bits.
I love Wimbledon, me,
Yeah, it's cool,
love it. It starts June, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's proper etched in my memory. Wimbledon of like being a kid and just it's always hot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I always remember just watching like the first week of it, and then like going the Asda and buying a tennis racket.
Yeah. We used to have gates outside our house, and me and RJ would play over them. You know what I mean? But like it wasn't level; it was like a gate. So it was like a triangle, but it had like spikes on the top. It was the worst net ever. But I love. To be honest, every time I watch Wimbledon, I'm like, right, I'm going to watch more tennis this year.
Yeah.
I never do until I get to...
Well, my 2 big ones are the US Open. I just love that blue court. And that'll be one of my main sporting events to go to, that,
The US Open, yeah, it'd be cool. Wimbledon's right up there with mine.
Wimbledon, yeah. We said we'd go. And then I saw the price of tickets, like $5,000 a pop. And I was like, nah, we might miss this one, Joe.
You still like card, lad, get us in.
You know what I will say? Sorry, back on football. Went to Wembley 3 times this season. Never scammed me ticket once.
And you had the ticket for the record?
I had tickets for all 3 of them, yeah. I never got shown it once.
Dangerous down there.
Idiots down there, you know, honestly.
It's London for you. Sorry for any of our London listeners, but I do not like your city.
No. Mate, one thing before I let you run riot on boxing and UFC.
We haven't got that much, you know. We're only going to
we not?
No.
Well, we knew it was going to be footy heavy this week anyway, mate. But one, you know, this golf thing, mate. I don't know, mate. This
split down the middle, innit?
This Saudi Arabian money thing is not going away.
No.
And
they don't go away, lad.
Well, the money does not go away. No, money talks, as we all know. And there's been a split, and I think more and more people are either distancing themselves away or maybe just keeping half a hand in to think how much can I get out of them. And from what I read, I'm not the biggest golf fan. Is the PGA's been going for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of set courses, the set times, the set tournaments. And now Saudi Arabia have come in, offered silly money, and started saying, look, come and play in these tournaments. The PGA have said, if you play with them, you're not playing with us.
Yeah.
And the players are like, well, why can't we do a bit of both? And then some players are saying, well, fuck you, I'll go to Saudi. Some players are staying loyal to the PGA. And they've just threw a cat amongst the pigeons, basically. That's what I've read into it.
I think you've summed it up pretty well, I think, from what I've read as well. And I think the problem is, at the top of the game, you're okay, you're getting paid. But if you're on there, like, you know, you're not the best player in the world, and you sort of might squeak in to getting the money off Saudi and stuff, you're not going to say no, are you? And it's obviously, it becomes a test of morals, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I think they're not going away. At some degree, that'll be implemented in golf, in some degree, at some point.
It just feels to me a little bit like the Super League.
It is. It's just golf neutralised, isn't it? A bit like football was going to be. There's no. We all love history, don't we, in sport? Like you talk about, well, the Premier League, but you talk about like English football.
The FA Cup
always goes back, doesn't it? And like PGA always goes back. Wimbledon, you're always going back. Historic moments. And I think for a lot of people as well, the dream was always to get on the PGA Tour. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you sort of get to your dream, and then it didn't actually mean that much because it just got taken away.
Yeah.
I think that's the internal battle most people will have.
What I think's mad as well about this, if people's models in general in society is mad, it's like Saudi Arabia, I think they killed like 30 people the other day, like beheaded them or stoned them, and then it's like, yeah, but they're just gonna give everyone 100 million to play golf over there, you know, and it's like, fucking hell, where's your moral
talk a lot about like money washing, money laundering. It's like ethic washing, isn't it? It's like, yes, we do a lot of bad shit, but we're not that bad people because
it is. I don't know whether it was the last Sportscast or on a Patreon, but we mentioned it. It's very much like Pablo Escobar.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, listen, yeah, I have just blew up a plane, and yet I have just threatened every politician, and yet I have killed a few people. However, just fucking built an apartment block.
Yeah.
No more homeless. They're all in my apartment block. Come
Everyone's
on,
going to college.
Well, yeah. And it's like, okay, that's great, Pablo, but
a little bit of heaven, a little bit of hell.
Few dead bodies on the street here, mate.
That's it. It is ethics washing, isn't it? It's horrible, but they're not going away. They took the Joshua Usyk fight July 23rd. And
I think what they've realised is the whole reason we started this show is people love sport.
Oh.
And they went, if we can get sport, we'll get the people.
And you ask somebody, come to our country and they see what's happening, they go, nah, not for me. I'm not going to holiday there. Come to our country, we've got Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk. When can I get there?
Yeah.
How can I get there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like a dangling carrot.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, it is fucking crazy over here. But come on.
It's mad.
It's awful. But they're everywhere. Horse racing, they own footy clubs now. They're getting in golf. They've obviously took a massive portion of the biggest boxing fight of the year. Everywhere, mate. Taking the lot.
Moving on, mate. I saw one thing before we go into actual fight wise, which probably arguably you could argue nowhere near as
stretch that. Ever have them?
When
you stretch and just get you right in the feels.
One thing, not to do with ethics, just more about money in general. I seen Paddy come out with something saying he wants to maybe fight twice a year, I think, or something. And he said, you know, why would I push myself? Because I earn more money out the octagon than I do in the octagon. Which I think, listen, fair play to Paddy. You know, I hope he makes as much money as he can. On a wider scale, it does bring into that thing of like, maybe in all sports, why do kids now want to get into it? For example, when I got into footy, I just dreamed of scoring at the Cop, in the Champions League final, etc. When kids are playing footy now, or whether it's UFC or golf, are they looking at the adulation of the blue tick, the millions of followers, the sponsorship deals, the money, the mansions, or are they doing it for that defining moment of glory? That's what I think it brings in the bigger question. If Paddy's saying, you know, getting paid by, you know, podcasters to eat a hamburger in 2 minutes or something and see how much I can eat. He does these mad food vlogs and stuff, and bar stools are paying him to stuff. Great, made up for him. But does that then take away, you know, the kind of reason why you want to get into that sport?
Yeah, because I think Paddy, there's no way Paddy went down to Next Gen or wherever he started and walked in and said, I just want to be rich and I want to try and get to America so I can build up my social profile. No. Which is what he's doing. There's no problem with it. Like, go and earn your money. You're not hurting anybody. You know, when he's been contracted to fight, he's made weight and he's fought. No problem. But I don't think it will ever start with money. I just don't think.
Not even I don't mean Paddy's generation. I mean this generation now. I mean, look.
No, I still don't think it will, because unless you, for example, I sit down with girls as well, but I don't sit down with some, right, you need to play footy because it's going to be the best way for you to be rich.
No, I don't mean parents saying that. I just mean a kid looking.
But that's where it starts, doesn't it? That's where I don't think.
You look at a kid looking on Sky Sports News and Pogba drives past in this and he's got his earrings in and his watch. You know. I don't think kids value money enough to. I mean, kids, by the way, like 6, 7, 8, 9. Like 10. Lifestyle, though.
Yeah. But I think that's always been there. I always remember growing up on the Bluebell Lighton where Gerard is from. He'd always drive on in like a Range Rover or Bentley or something, and you'd always go, "Oh my God, look at his car." Do you know what I mean? I think that's always been there.
Maybe it's because of social media. I'm thinking it's so easier to kind of see the life they live now. But I think it was when I was a kid.
When you're a kid, if you think about a competitive sort of environment, footy and stuff, if you're in there just because you've got an eye on money, you probably won't get out anyway. You wouldn't get out of the. I know there's a lot of professional footballers in the world, a lot of UFC fighters, but when you break it down, it's a very small percentage you hit that. You hit that ceiling, do you know what I mean? And if you're not doing it for the love of it at grassroots level, you won't get there anyway.
I just thought it was interesting, you know, you see, is it, I can never say his name, Chimaev, is it?
Yeah, Hamzat.
Hamzat goes, any day, brother, I fight today, tomorrow, all that. And then Paddy's going, lad, I'll fight twice a year, it's sound, I'm fucking not arsed. It's just two super successful fighters with two different outlooks on life.
The thing, if you look at it, so Hamzat, before his last fight, everything was documented on YouTube. You had people following him around. Like, his YouTubers having mad numbers, all that stuff. The minute his fight was up, he hasn't uploaded on YouTube for like 3-4 weeks. Do you know what I mean? So he's doing it because he's fighting and then doing this shit around it because he knows he has to. At the minute, Paddy's doing that stuff and fighting. But again, there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
It's just a dangerous precedent to set, because I don't know how watertight everything Paddy's doing is, but you know, if he is to pick up a loss and stuff like that, are all these opportunities still there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just saying it as like you know, someone who I'd love to see Paddy go to the top and do a kind of Conor McGregor, if you like, and take over the game. I just don't want him to turn into like a Ricky Hatton, where he's getting fat after every fight and he's going on the ale, and I don't think he goes on the ale much, but it's obviously well documented he loves his food. And yeah, I just want to see him fight and do well.
Me too. I mean, I don't think he's going to fight at London, July 23rd.
You don't think he will, no?
No, I don't think he could safely get to the weight at this point.
That'd be a shame,
do you know what I mean? But that might not be the overall cause, because he said on an interview the other day with Caroline Pierce, who does the BT Sports stuff, I don't know, I might be on a pay-per-view card later in the year, but how much of that is wanting to be on a pay-per-view and how much is that is like, well, yeah, I'm not doing that weight cut in 12 weeks.
That's what I mean.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it remains to be seen.
I think he's still stateside now and stuff, so yeah, it's...
And he's in a heavy division.
Yeah.
You know, the human backpack at the top of it. The rest of the top 15 are just absolute murderers.
How many more fights do you think till Paddy gets a ranking?
Where he's at now, just for Vargas and Villanueva, or his name was 5, 6.
Really?
He's nowhere near that level yet. But I think he's documented and saying don't even bring me anyone who's on that. Why I'm on this 12 and 12 contract. I'm fighting 12 and 12 fighters. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, he seems to be savvy with like he's.
So I think he'd need at least 2 more contracts in order to get there. And he's got time on his side and obviously profile on his side. But still, yeah, I mean, for Paddy to get to the top 15 is going to be very, very, very long road. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be, but losses not happen in MMA. It's not like boxing where it gets, you know, disastrous. But I think Paddy's got all the ability, especially you know, in jiu-jitsu and grappling and stuff, but it's a long road in that game, long road.
What have we got any UFC this week, have we?
Yeah, we have got UFC. It's Holly Holm versus Caitlin Vera, but it's a very proper hardcore card. There's a couple of bets on there that's going to be on our betting show, but in terms of talking about it on here, there's no one that you're going to know or be really care about. But obviously we're just building up to, there's a pay-per-view card in a couple of weeks, then UFC London comes in July, doesn't it? So a lot of big cards coming up, but yeah, quiet this weekend. It's more the UK's got boxing, hasn't it, in terms of...
Well, on the boxing, mate, did you see the walking hypocrite himself? I love him to bits. Like, I don't love him to bits, that's a lie, but I do like him. Tyson Fury.
Yeah, he's bladdered, wasn't he?
Bladdered.
Kicking cabs.
Booting a cab in Spain, I think it looked like, I don't know, somewhere. Which is, listen...
Retired life, innit?
That's not fine, but what I mean is, like, he just... I would never sit here, right, and say, I don't know, like, I'm always to say, like, you know, yeah, my title is a motivational speaker, but am I motivated 24/7? No.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm, you know, I will talk about, you know, trying to be healthy, but will I go on the ale and stuff? Yeah, and I talk about that, do you know what I mean? The issue I have, which what you say about him, is he will talk this talk and he speaks very eloquently. It's like almost he practices it in the mirror, and then these clips you see on Instagram of, you know, I don't do this, I don't do that, mental health this, mental health that, and he's fucking booting a fucking taxi because they won't let him in because he's bladdered.
I know.
It's like, which is, listen, you all make mistakes and everyone does stupid stuff when they're drunk, but this pedestal he kind of puts himself on.
It's open to criticism, isn't it? I think Fury's a great fighter. I always have. You just have to say it for what it is. I mean, in his press conference, he said he doesn't care about the life. He drives a 56-plate Volkswagen Passat. But then his video on Instagram, his latest one, he's on a yacht.
That's what I mean.
In a Versace shirt.
No, the best bit of that press conference when he went, I don't need the Range Rovers. I don't need the Lamborghinis. I mean, I've got them. Hell, lad.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming back though, isn't he?
Do you think?
That's his life without boxing, mate. He's going to just hit that shit hard again, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He needs boxing as much as he probably thinks he doesn't. He does.
One person who doesn't need boxing is Amir Khan.
Nice segue, lad. That was professional, that.
Like that, lad. I'm getting good at this shit.
Fucking going up in the well. No, he doesn't. Got out of there.
I think for me, as a fair weather fan of boxing, he's someone, and maybe you can tell me different, I don't think he got the recognition he deserved.
No way near. Mate, the amount of arguments I've had with people who said Amir Khan's got no chin, just wow me up to death.
He seems to be someone who put himself out there a lot for the big fights.
Mate, when he is one of the only fighters who actually went and broke America. Like, he went to America and had massive fights. Like, his performance against Maidana, you know, as good as a British performance that we've seen overseas. He was fighting the best of the best for a long time. Don't let that fight with Kell Brooks, like, define Amir Khan.
You know what I think as well, for a fair weather boxing fan, maybe I'm speaking on my own or for people, but you know when someone receives a really heavy knockout, which he's had a couple of them, I don't know, I think subconsciously you go, he's fucking shite. Like,
yeah, you do.
That Canelo knockout was a bad one. And I think people then just pigeonhole him and go, he's fucking shite.
Yeah. Without knowing, like, he won world titles at 140, fights at 147. That was at £160, but he was like, yeah, I'll go and do it. The one thing people say Amir Khan is about him being like chinny, he's like shit. I've heard people call him shitbag and stuff. He's one of the bravest, hardest men we have ever produced. He will fight anyone. Yeah. And he knows that he can be knocked out, but you've never seen Amir Khan shy away. Like, even when Kell Brook hit him, he was like walking straight at him. Yeah. And like, more importantly, what he done, his medals at the Olympics and stuff helped boxing be where it's at now. Without Amir Khan, you don't have Anthony Joshua, you don't have
the fund and that, you mean?
This card this weekend, Joshua Buatsi won an Olympic bronze medalist, headlining on the zone. You don't have him. All these fighters that you love in Britain don't come through without Amir Khan and Audley Harrison, who also gets mad stick. But yeah, I'm glad he retired because it was time. But I think he's now in retirement getting the respect he probably deserved in his career.
10 years ago, yeah.
Hell of a fighter, mate. One of the best fighters to ever come from Britain.
You just mentioned it then, Buatsi in action this weekend.
Buatsi Richards, yeah. 2 South Londoners. They're actually, like, the teams, it's one of them things where the teams know each other and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, they was even arguing a bit this week, but I think they
know each other as in get on, or
yeah, but like, they're from the same area. So, like, I think there's, like, he's got friends of his and Richards is friends with some of Boati's mates, you know what I mean?
Just imagine all that behind the scenes. It's like, lad, I'm sound with both of you lads, I'm fucking just in the middle here, lad.
There was one yesterday where it come up on someone from Boati's team, and they're laughing and joking with someone from Richards' team, but then it turns a bit, and he's like, wait, are you joking? And the fella's like, no, I'm not joking. So they end up for an argument. And then 2 minutes later, they're like, nah, it's not, I'm like hugging. Do you know what I mean? It's that awkwardness of, do we be knobheads to each other? Or do we just take it for what it is? But yeah, it's Boati's a fighter that I always held in, you know, super high regard from 2016. His career's just not took off yet though. This could be it, to be fair. This could be the point where he takes off. He's only 29, 15-0, 13 KOs, you know, fighting Richards, who fought Bivol the last time. Has he had a fight since then? I think he has. But he fought Bivol, who obviously has gone on and beat Canelo, and he got beat on points by Bivol. So that people will probably overestimate that form a little bit, but I think Bivol fought to the level that night. But yeah, I think it's now or never for Boati, really. He can't lose this.
You think he needs to put on a performance, you think?
Yeah, I do. I think he needs to. I've been torn about it all week. I think Boati wins, it's just how he wins. But I think if he edges through on points, it's almost like he was never as good as we thought he was. But in the same, you know, if he gets rid of Craig Richards, it's like, fucking hell, Bivol couldn't do that. I know that's not directly true, but it's like, you know, he is the real deal actually. Do you know what I mean? And that's how big the fight is for him at the O2. I think it's got a decent undercard as well. I mean, only decent because I'm an absolute fucking hardcore
nerd.
But it's got but Robbie Davis Jr. is on there fighting Javier Molina, who's never been stopped. That's a good fight. Siobhan Clark's on there, who's 1-0, potential Jake Paul opponent. He's the one who Eddie put up. You know, when Jake Paul said if Taylor wins, that's Siobhan Clark who Eddie put up. So maybe getting a little pipe opener before fighting Jake Paul. And yeah, there's a couple. Alan Babbage is on there. Oh my god, have we spoke about Babbage before?
Yeah.
I put it. They put up something Matchroom this week about Alan Babbage returning, and I quote tweeted said can't wait. And people were like replying, going, "Oh, me, he's great," and I was like, "No, but at that point I couldn't say I'm being sarcastic." Do you know what I mean? So look out for the Robbie Davis Jr. fight, and obviously Alan Babbage will be right up on the card. But I think the main event's got all the hallmarks of being a really good fight. Really good fight.
You said big contracts going the other way from Eddie as well with Ben Whittaker.
Crazy. So Ben Whittaker's the star really who's come out of Team GB, but it's the most successful Team GB of all time. So there was a little bit of fighting over who signs who. Apparently Eddie offered him a really good deal, like as good as Eddie offers, which is a lot of money. And then Sky and Boxer, obviously Eddie left, I've doubled it. Which is, I can't even mate, that must be astronomical money. Like life generation changing money.
Really, yeah.
To sign on and whatever deal he's on must be like groundbreaking. Wow. He's a good fighter, but
you think he warrants it, like?
I honestly, mate, I don't know. Everyone will tell you he's brilliant and stuff, but I don't see it yet. But maybe that's just me thinking, you know, you better be good now. But obviously a really talented fighter, but I mean, he's going to have to be like a multi-weight world champion to start paying this sort of investment back, do you know what I mean? But he must be sitting in his going, like, Eddie's offered me this, and Dave doubled it. Like, mate, when you talk about, you know, it's
talking tens of millions here, we talking?
I think we're definitely in seven figures, like, with ease. But it's where you get, he's probably got that signed on, and then you're getting this for fight one, this for fight two. Yeah. So by the time you add it all up, you know, you're all right. But that's silk pajamas thing, isn't it?
Yeah, fucking hell.
And he hasn't even had a fight yet. But all I'm saying is Ben Whittaker better be good.
I had a silk pajamas moment and I never even got any money. When I broke that world record for 10k, I thought, boom, I can talk about that for ages. Sound. Didn't fucking pick me running blade up for about 6 months.
I can imagine you running blade going, see ya.
Honestly, but you know, for the motivational speaking, I thought, great, if I can become the fastest amputee in the world, that's me motivational speaking.
Yeah.
Done. That was my silk pajamas moment, and it's a thing. It is a thing.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm guessing he's very, very happy man today, but is he gonna be as on it as he probably would have been? I don't know, and I'm just saying, I don't think he's as good. This might become a clip in 2 years where, like, you don't know anything about boxing, but I just don't think he's as good as that money, in my opinion. And I'm probably pretty much the only person saying that.
One person who definitely is as good as but got fucked over was obviously Catterall. Josh Taylor, bit of news from that fight.
Yeah, so Josh Taylor's, I don't know if he's been stripped. There's different things about whether he's been stripped or he's got rid of one of the belts. But he's going to fight somebody else that's but staying at 140 and not fighting Jack Catterall, which is just...
Why is that?
I don't know. He's saying, I've got a mandatory. He had a mandatory against a fighter called Puello, which is obviously not a fight that anyone wanted to see. But then I think he's now going to go, because I've released that, I won't have to fight Catterall. I'll then do a mandatory with my other belt.
It's fucking snaky, that, isn't it?
But mate, I think it tars his reputation.
Yeah.
And the record he's built. You know, people are just going to go, oh, it was all great and perfect till you got beat, and then you dodged him.
Ducking fights. Yeah.
But Jack Catterall again is in terrible position in one sense, in terms of he got robbed, but a great position in the other, where he's like, everyone's like, you're pretty much the best 140 pound fighter in the world until Josh Taylor proves otherwise. But yeah, I think this will change over the next week or so. We'll touch back on it next week. I can't see him staying at 140 and not fighting him, because he's a boxer. You know what I mean? He's a fighter. Yeah. He's got an ego. Yeah. There's no way he'll allow everyone just go, you're there. You shit yourself. It wouldn't happen. No. Yeah, in my opinion, I hope I'm right. I hope he does have a change of heart and actually does take the fight.
Same. Obviously, first half an hour very football heavy, as you'd imagine. Last game of the season.
So emotionally, that was an emotionally draining one. That we went through the footy. I feel like we come to the end of it. Well, haven't we come to the end of the season?
Yeah, we're going to be doing a bit of an end of season review coming out the next week or two. I just hope the fairy tale gods are on our side.
Before we go, we are paying the winner of the fantasy on Monday.
Is it this Monday?
Yeah, it's the last game.
When's they finalise the fantasy table?
I think it's Monday.
Is it?
So we need to keep an eye on that. It's very tight between Richard Kirk and Mark, is it?
That's £1,100.
There's a lot of money in there, and obviously you get paid for second and third as well. But yeah, we touched on why we haven't kept the content going there, but you guys will get your money.
Yeah, you'll be getting your money, and we're going to be doing it bigger and better next season.
We are bigger and better.
I done the I definitely done the fucking kept 6 months into it, and then when I knew I was nowhere near, I just fucked it off.
Yeah, we're coming back next year.
We're coming back with a bang.
But yeah, you will get your money well done to you lads, because you've put a serious shift.
£1,100 just on the brink of the summer as well. That's fucking...
Yeah, I think I've spoke to a couple of the lads, and then holiday money, innit?
Belter. Right, hope you enjoyed the show, and have a boss weekend.
Yeah, see you later.